we've seen is that the people no longer consider work as a place. They want to work anywhere, and they want the flexibility to do that. But with that, they also, when it comes to work-life balance, the flexibility, they want a little bit more of autonomy about how they manage their time, because the lines have become very blurred from when you're working at home, what's home life, what's that. And I think with a lot of people, it's not a one size fits all. People expect different things, and they expect much more transparency about what's going on with the organizations around them, and expecting that. But we've also seen a lot of frustrations that people have, because as you said at the start, there was a lot of hygiene factors that are there, but a lot of the technologies that are in place, or the things that were brought or imposed on top of people, really weren't fit or weren't developed to work with people to make this transition over. So there's a lot of older technology that still is out there that needs a lot of modernization that really aren't fit for purpose. And this causes a lot of frustration for those people. And then there's the cultural aspects of it. And we've got age differences across the people that are working from home. We've seen some people are much more confident and are probably have been in the business a lot longer, a lot more comfortable to work on their own, and that. But other people miss that social cohesion that happens within the organization, or when they go into the office. I think some people have find it much easier. I wouldn't say it's not an age group, but there's many behavioral things that people have. And you got the difference between introverts and extroverts, and the way that they like to have people around them. I'm talking about that social cohesion and communication. There are many things that have aided that. Obviously, we talk about the prominence of Zoom and now Microsoft Teams. There's actually, in some instances that we've seen with some research I've done with the School of Psychology and with Trinity College, we've seen the behaviours slightly change and adapt, where people have really embraced instant communication. Whereas, so they've actually formed stronger bonds, being able to work at home and have almost instant chats with other team members or with supervisors, where they might have found it difficult to do that in the environment. So it does mean different things for different people. And there's a great disparity across those. But you see other people who have frustrations, who have got other things that happen around their lifestyle. They've got disturbances that can happen, and find it much easier to go into an office space and work in those environments. So as I said, I don't think it's a one size fits all. I think, and this is where I think management and need to play a greater role in that, help people coach them through this. And there is a role there for technology as well, as people kind of transition from being not so much task management or productivity management, but actually coaching their staff and having the time to be able to do that. As I say, aid people and assist people where it's need be. And data plays a huge role in this. I think Dan mentioned that earlier. We have to find new ways of finding and collecting newer data that we don't have access before. So you not so much to monitor people, but you can see visibility and signs of how people are doing, and have proper feedback on them back to their management team. One of the things that we found while we're conducting research is, that leaders want a high level of visibility and feel a little bit out of control out of this situation. So when it comes to kind of leadership qualities, it's really addressing issues around trust. We found is really key to promoting hybrid working, and trust was a word that kept coming up again and again and again while we were researching both people on the operations floor and talking to the senior level management and whatever. So I think just the culture within organizations, if you develop new leadership qualities that have trust, openness and transparency, where you're free to communicate, and remembering that we need to communicate in different ways when people are in the office, whatever. But I've seen some teams do great things, in the way that they kind of have regular coffee mornings and chats over Zoom, so that they put it in their diaries and the team get together and don't discuss work, and they have a bit more cohesive things. And other ones who have embraced that we'll meet at least once a month within the office and they get together and use it for very specific purposes, but also take time to have a lunch and get over to bring that together. So I think it's just embracing these things. I think that's a part of it, having the courage just to try and adapt to new things and really think about what is the norm. And I hate that word because there was never a norm. It was always different and there was always complexity. And so we just need to rethink how we do that. I think it's not always about automation as well. It's about making sure work is done in the best way. And workflow is just one part of the equation. It's whatever. We've seen people on one team sitting down with the users, and they were trying to navigate, I think, across 30 to 40 different applications while they were trying to service a request from our sales call from a customer on the phone. And all those systems just kind of have point-to-point integrations, and there's a lack of shared data across the organization to make it easier. This concept that easy to find, single click. Whereas I think people have moved away from sort of doing tasks as such, and they're moving from being a sort of task to a knowledge worker. They need information and data to be able to make decisions and pass that information and communicate it on back to customers in the best type of way. So to support the users to do that and to distribute the work across whatever. You're talking about mundane tasks, and we've been looking at different ways of allocating work. So looking beyond just normal productivity about how quick to get things done, but what's the variety of work that you should give someone, and will that have a better outcome where they can not repeatedly do the same thing day after day, key information from this place and key it into another one. So these sorts of things we've seen can really impact the person who's actually doing the work. So it's kind of thinking more about the people and the way that the people work and how the technology can actually support them and support them to make the decisions that they need. I think as people that kind of, I'm talking about embracing new technologies, but as we move over more and more to look at the cloud technologies and what's available out to us there, you're talking about open APIs to make that flow of data much more seamless, is not just about the new platforms, but also helps with greater connectivity with the old and new together for greater efficiency. But there's lots more we can do now with predictive analytics as well, for individuals, for teams, for supervisors, and even to make strategic decisions if the right data is available to put in that. But a lot of the research and where we're going forward with it is looking at other industries or other things that users use on a day-to-day basis. We've all gotten very comfortable wearing wearables that can show our sleep patterns, that can show our stress levels, that can show our effort during that today. If we could find these performance metrics and have visualizations of these to feed back to users to show them how I'm performing, you might move a little bit away from having other people to coach you, to be able to coach and be able to see yourself where you need. As Jennifer says, it's like, how do you integrate things like Viva Insights into your day to help you, force you to take a break? Or maybe say, if you work at this time during the day and have that flexibility to start and stop at different times when you're most performant. These are the areas I think that we should be looking at. Not to monitor people, but to provide information back to them in a way that they consume when they need it, to help them improve and then improve their way of working. I think it's just making that change and having the courage to adapt these new technologies and look at using them in new innovative ways and kind of break away from the old norms and looking at just, as I said before, pure task productivity. There are better ways to get performance out of people. I'm just thinking of someone spoke to me recently, and they were what do I consider, without giving any names away in the insurance industry here in Ireland, they consider themselves the number 2 in the market. And they were talking about another of our customers who they consider to be the number 1. And they were asking, what is it that they've done that have helped them to be the number 1? And I had to say back to him, I said, it's been a long journey for them. And to Jennifer's point about one size fit all, there was no silver bullet. It was not one thing that they did. it was a number of improvements that they brought in over the year, both with technology and with people, to kind of to bring the two of them together. I think that you have to do that. I think talk about that term, the triple bottom line, when you talk about the people, the environment, and society, and the economics, you're getting the balance right across that little bottom line, and having the metrics to measure that. And I think that just needs to change people's focus. So it's not so much about being task orientated, but being much more people orientated. People, if you focus a little bit more on the people and the impact, not just the people working, but the customer as well, and all the other people that's needed supported in the environment. I think that change of focus, I think, can stop the old ways creeping back in. Don't know about key stats in that, but certainly some of the findings and from some conversations I've had, we were going to talk about the Great Resignation, although I believe that we're probably heading towards a recession, and that's probably a cycle we might have passed. So people might not want to resign and may want to feel more secure where they are. But one of the things were people that have embraced it, this hybrid working, or being open to people work from home and offer work from home contracts, is where they've suffered from before, because there's a lack of talent out there at the moment. It's really difficult to hire the right people, depending on the type of talent you're looking for. But it's certainly opened the talent pool. If people are willing to be flexible with the hours that people are working and where they're working from, you're no longer restricted to the regional, local talent commute market, and you can open yourself to open hours. So we've seen some organizations that have done that, embrace that, and remembering that customers don't buy our products from 9 to 5. They can look to buy products at any time of the day, and being more open to have people working in different time zones across different regions, serving different markets, allows you to, what we've had customers do, to adopt a follow the sun process. So work can easily be transitioned from one geography to the other, offering a better customer experience to be able to do that, and giving the employees better flexibility of the times that they want to work from and where they can work from. So I said, work isn't a place. We should really be able to work from anywhere, because we can be able to do the same tasks and have the same experience whether we work from home or whether we work in an office if we choose to do so. I think that I don't want to use the term doing more work done faster, but as Kyle has talked, that customer, that experience for the employee, working out the way, so they're spending less time doing administrative tasks or spending less time doing that. That is better delivery and better customer experience for that. But also when a customer engage with a company, especially very complex products like there are in the insurance ones, they're dealing in the back end a lot of different processes and a lot of different teams that are often very siloed across each other. And it only takes one of those on that journey for it to not be seamless, for it to go run up. So the customer doesn't see that. They don't see all the things in different teams that go on. They have one view. They just see the company and that employee brand. So the more aligned your teams are to work on delivering that, the better the engagement, the better for the brand, and that's just going to have reap benefits for that customer experience and generate more brand loyalty. There's also the opportunity here, I think, with these to pass on great savings and have much more cost-effective offerings and look at where the real threat is coming from: new incumbents who are coming into the insurance spaces, who aren't hindered by the ways, and they're looking at products that they can supply that are embracing newer technologies and newer ways of working to deliver that customer experience to do that. So I think that's really an area that needs to be focused more on. There's lots of people that have previous to COVID left the market, left the workplace, whether it was to start families, go at home and time change, and the pressures of childcare and one. And there was this flexible approach in the hybrid working gives them the opportunity to come back. So there's a whole talent pool out there. I still think that's untapped, of people with rich knowledge that can be utilized in a better way. So I think it's that it's not to be in a mindset of one thing works. I think you got to open yourself up to kind of going, what's best for the outcomes we want as an organization, and then how can we measure the success of that, and be able to use that and help people and support them to work the way they want to work rather than forcing something on top of them.